Hey, good morning, Faith Box. Welcome back to Everyday Faith. It's great to be with you guys here on this month's theme, picking up on resilience. And I know Brandon, Rachel, and a few others have jumped in and honestly just filmed some great, not just videos, but shared, personal experiences. Particularly Rachel, of course, anytime she jumps on, she's like a fan favorite. But this theme is so relevant, right? Because we all have tests and battles that we're going through and things that we want to work through. So today is no different. So we're going to jump into day 17. I'll read the devotion, and then I want to share part of my heart and my experience to help kind of maybe encourage you in your faith and on your journey. So day 17 starts with a verse from Colossians chapter 2, verse 7. It says this: "Let your roots grow down into him, and let your lives be built on him. Then your faith will grow strong in the truth you are taught, and you will overflow with thankfulness." Life's troubles are one of the best ways to identify what really matters to you. Adversity is great at teaching you what you will and won't stand for, what you will and won't budge on, and who you will or won't become. In a sense, resilience is about deepening your roots and convictions, either because of or in spite of what you're going through. If you let it, times of peril can become great times of growth and strengthening. In nature, a tree may seem to be standing strong, but only when it is tested by force and wind can one truly know how strong and how deep its roots are. So here's the kind of closing question. What are some areas of your life that have grown and been strengthened because of adversity? So as I talk, I want to encourage you not just to listen, but also to reflect back on your own experiences, because this is a powerful devotional, right? It talks about how we only know how resilient something is once it's tested. And I think, all of us would like to say, well, we're resilient, or we're strong, or we have, we can withstand things. But it's only in moments of testing, it's only in moments of trial or frustration that you really know how resilient you are. Because resilient by nature requires that you go against something that's difficult or something that's challenging. And I'll kind of use this before I share a little bit about my experience and answer that question for you. But I was reminded of this this past November. I live in New York City, and the first week of November, we had kind of this freak snowstorm. It was unexpected. It was literally no one in the city expected it or planned for it. They were like, oh, it'll be like some snow flurries. And it was like a massive snowstorm, like 7 to 10 inches, just dumped on the city on the evening commute home. So people who were driving were stuck in traffic for hours on end. The city wasn't prepared. They didn't have anyone out there to clean the roads, all this stuff. But here's what made it worse. The snow was unexpected, so the city was unprepared, but nature was also unprepared, because some of the trees, up to that point, it's still been very warm, so some of the trees still had a lot of leaves. And when the snow fell, it fell not just on the branches, but it also fell on the leaves, and that additional weight caused a bunch of trees around my neighborhood, around the city, to collapse, to fall over. Branches, limbs, were falling off everywhere, and literally certain trees or several trees had just completely fell over. And then, of course, that complicates because roads are blocked, streets are blocked, the city doesn't have anyone out there removing these trees, so it was just a mess. But in that moment, what I realized was that, that storm, some of those trees withstood the storm, and some of them didn't. And that's how you know when something is resilient. That's how you know how resilient, I should say, something is. And so, when I think about this question, what are some areas of your life that have grown and been strengthened because of adversity? Immediately I think about my own marriage, I think about my family, I think about my character tied to all of that. If you don't know, if you're new to FaithBox, I've shared, in the past about the struggles that my wife and I have been through on the brink of divorce. I'm a pastor, I was in pastoral ministry, and we were on the brink of divorce because of some poor decisions and choices that I made. And then beyond those choices, my decisions to keep the addiction, or to keep, the sin in my life hidden and lie about it. And it literally almost completely tore apart our family. We were days away from meeting with a divorce attorney. This is summer of 2014, so it's no small thing. But in that season and in that moment, I remember thinking to myself, Ricky, you might lose everything. And you might lose all that you have, all that you love, all that you've worked for, all that you've wanted. And you can't control that. But what you have to determine is, who are you going to become? How are you going to get through this? Because your life is going to go on, whether it's with your family, without your family. If she leaves, which she had the right to, what are you going to do? Who are you going to become? What's going to happen from this? And I remember in that situation thinking, I have to fight through this. I have to determine or decide who I'm going to become. And in that time, and over the course of these last 5 years, how the Lord has shaped me. I thank God we worked through it. We were able to salvage not just our marriage and not just salvage it, but restore it and actually create something that we both love and that we're both committed to. And it's far better than anything we ever had before. But man, in that low, it was a question of, do I give up now? Do I just let my life kind of like tailspin out of control and just keep nosediving? Or do I decide, it's time to be something different? And now when I face situations, now when I face circumstances, I realize that like 95% of the stuff I experience and go through today is nothing compared to what I experienced and went through back then. And the resilience that God forged in me and that the Holy Spirit produced in me is what strengthened me and is what is encouraging me to be the man and do the things that I'm called to do today. So I hope, me sharing part of my story encourages you to reflect back on your journey and the places of adversity that you can look back now. In the moment, it doesn't feel great, but looking back on it in hindsight, you can see God was using it to build some resilience within you. Let that encourage you, let it strengthen you, and let's grow together as God strengthens us as a resilient community. Love you guys, and I'll see you back here tomorrow morning.